We have more NHL trades to discuss. More defensemen are on the move, with the St. Louis Blues and Washington Capitals making fairly significant acquisitions. We'll get into all the latest details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. It's been quite a day in the NHL for lots of trade activity. We're well ahead of the trade deadline. Will there be anybody left come February the 24th? There likely will be, but there's lots and lots of activity going on today. Very busy day, so let's dive in. First of all, the San Jose Sharks have traded defenseman Brendan Dillon to the Washington Capitals. Dillon should be an excellent fit with the Capitals. I know it's been rumored they've been wanting to add on their blue line, certainly add some more depth before another playoff run. There's certainly another legitimate cup contender here yet again, and I think Dillon will fit in there quite nicely. It's debatable exactly where he fits in, probably 4 or 5 spot on their blue line, but certainly adds that physical edge and could be a big contributor to the Capitals here down the stretch. Now the Washington Capitals in return send a couple of draft picks to the San Jose Sharks. They sent a 2020 second-round selection and a 2021 third-round selection. That 2021 third-round selection can be upgraded. There is a condition attached that if the Washington Capitals win the Stanley Cup, it gets moved to be a 2020 third-round pick. They currently hold a third-round selection in this year's draft of the Arizona Coyotes. That would be the one that would end up being transferred to the San Jose Sharks. Now, also in return, to make the money side of things work, the San Jose Sharks have retained 50% of Brendan Dillon's remaining contract for this season. Of course, he's a pending unrestricted free agent, and with everything going on, he's been one of the names that has been heavily rumored to be moved here over the last number of weeks and months once it became abundantly clear that the Sharks were not going to be a playoff team for the current season. So a pretty solid acquisition, I think, for Washington. Lots of other teams have been looking for defense, and certainly the Capitals were, even though they were in that market, there's other teams that I think needed him even more so that they were able to snag him. So I think that's a big move for Washington. Now, shortly after that deal was announced, we had another trade involving the Montreal Canadiens and the St. Louis Blues. The Montreal Canadiens have sent defenseman Marco Scandella over to St. Louis as well for a couple of picks. Of course, the Habs picked up Scandella earlier this year, where I think he's played about 20 games with the Habs from the Buffalo Sabres, and now they're moving him along to gain back another asset. The time in Montreal has served his purpose, and now they're moving him on. Of course, he's also a pending unrestricted free agent. Now, in return, the Montreal Canadiens get a second-round pick in this year's 2020 NHL Draft, and they also get a conditional fourth-round pick as well. The condition on the fourth-round pick would be one of two things. Either he re-signs with the St. Louis Blues before the beginning of next season, or if they win at least 2 rounds and he plays in at least half of the games. If either of those things happen, then a fourth-round pick will be transferred over to the Habs. So at the very least, they're getting a second-round pick and possibly a fourth as well. So certainly pretty good returns, I think, for both these deals. A little bit surprising in a way that Dylan DeMello didn't get a little bit more of a return to the Senators in that trade. It looks as though the Jets got off a pretty solid deal. I was fully expecting maybe a second-round pick or a prospect. If you look back at the Andy Green deal, plus these ones here, a little surprising that the Sens didn't get a little bit more on the DeMello trade, but clearly lots of defensemen on the move. Not a big surprise. These guys were all in the trade rumor mill that we've discussed over the last number of weeks leading up to this. So I guess we will see here. Let me know what your thoughts are on these trades. Obviously in the Blues case, big question mark now around the future of Jay Bouwmeester after the medical incident that he experienced on the ice against the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, it was earlier announced today that he has made it back home. He had a procedure done. Certainly appears to be in good health and moving forward, but as far as what that means for his playing career, it's certainly a question mark, or if or when that return is going to take place. So I guess we'll have to wait for further details, and the Blues needed to act here to add to that blue line to replace the veteran in case he's not going to be available. This is a pretty good chance at least he won't be available for at least a while. Hard to say, like I said, what that means for his future. We'll have to remain patient here and get further updates from the Blues organizations once they learn more about his recovery process here. So let me know your thoughts on these trades down in the comments, and we'll continue the conversation. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest trades as we lead into NHL Trade Deadline 2020 coming up on February 24th. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.